See,
There's Nathan. Okay.
the little box, the black box.
Oh, yeah, black boxes.
Is it
Well, we
on?
are still live.
I don't see any lights.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us virtually, or if you're watching this in the future,
Black box on.
welcome. We have a pretty small group today, but we're still going to go through with just an open discussion forum. And we could probably talk about the turmoil of July. It seems like that's what we've all bonded over, that July has been crazy for everyone. But here we are. We have some questions. If you are joining us on Facebook Live, please feel free to comment those questions, or if you're on Zoom, well, it's just Dick and Kathleen. I'm sure they'll just vocalize their questions, but if you join us, please feel free to chat those questions as well. For those that don't know me, my name is, can't see my name tag. I am Logan Banks. I am the president of the board of the CSRA Parkinson support group. So I'm here to assist you in any way you need me to. Feel free to call, text, email. My contact information is in the newsletter. And if you are interested in joining the walk day of to assist or assist with the planning, we can always use more hands, more minds, and more spirit, I guess. That's what we do need, right? So with that, I'm going to hand it over to the room and change the camera view. Bear with me. I hope this works well. And there we are. So I will open the floor to questions, and we have to use the mic because it seems like every time we say, everyone says that they can't hear it. So Kathleen, can you hear on, or I guess I should have Nathan or somebody far away do it. So I'm going to hand the mic over to Nathan. Let us know if you can hear it on live. Testing. Can you hear Kathleen or Dick? Well, we will just assume that is a yes. And if there are issues, then let us know.
Yes, I can hear you very well.
Perfect. Could you hear Nathan too?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So who wants to open the floor? Questions? Okay. And go.
No. Can't hear anything. I can't hear anything.
You can't hear anything?
No.
Am I so try to can not further find out and down you can and figure that was on the way back will be front and back into it and so there's a lot here for you.
I don't see if you there's wire.
Okay.
You know, the fast forward to town. And so that's easier.
Can't hear. No, it doesn't. Oh, yeah, it did. It did.
Does?
Yeah, it did. It did. Hang up. Yeah. Good. Can't hear anything.
Yeah. You got it on max volume?
Yeah.
TV's not gonna have.
So for those joining us online, the kind of overarching question is, when you have long direct flights or even stopovers, how do you cope with that, right? How do you cope with that sitting for long periods? That, I mean, that's a lot of physical activity too, especially if you have multiple transfer flights. So does anyone, Dick, Kathleen, do you have anything to share with your experience flying with Parkinson's?
I have not flown except for this last week. We came back from our cruise, we had to fly, but it was a short flight both times. It was a 2-hour flight only. So we had the wheelchair with us up to the gate. And then Dick helped me get to my seat. And then we sat there and didn't move until it's time to get off, and then we mostly let everybody off first. And then it was our turn to get off, to get on the wheelchair. Good thing is we didn't have to catch another flight, because otherwise then I would have to leave at the same time everybody else is leaving instead of waiting till the end. You know? Did you
So-
understand?
So you said that just wait for everybody to get off the plane. You utilize the wheelchair and assistive services that they have.
Yes,
And then just make sure that your transfer flights, whatever your I'm blanking on the term from lack of sleep. Whatever the follow-up flight is called. If anyone wants to throw me a bone. Connection, thank you. I was gonna say this full room of people, those joining us, just stare at me blankly as I struggle with this term.
excuse
Yeah.
me.
So when you leave enough time for a connection is what you're saying as well.
Yeah,
That's good
Right.
advice.
it's really hard otherwise.
Yeah. Dick,
Try
do
to
you have
hurry.
any tips or tricks being a caregiver?
Well, we just took a cruise for 8 days on the Great Lakes with Viking. And one of the struggles was the wheelchair itself, which we decided to, we wanted to bring a wheelchair just so we could get around on the ship and to the ship and out of the ship and everything else. Each cruise line may be different. In the case of Viking, they were very choosy about, the size of your wheelchair, because the staterooms that you go into have pretty narrow doors. So we ended up renting a wheelchair that was smaller than the one we have because ours was too big. And even that one was in question. And we went back and forth. Kath worked with these people for like 4 months to get the right wheelchair that would fit properly through doors and all that sort of thing. So that's something to think about if you're
But
going to
then
travel.
ended up, we didn't even use it on the ship because we just walked on the ship. I just hung on to him on the ship. We did not use it except for getting on and off the ship. We used the wheelchair because it's a long ways to get to the bus and stuff for the transfers.
Okay.
So but that's a question to have to ask for any things like cruises or something like that. Whether or not they allow or if they have any stipulation about wheelchairs. I did not know that they were going to be so stinky about the wheelchair size to the actual measurement. But I guess I understand.
That's a good point. I think we should definitely, that's something we can put out to the community, what have you all found, those watching in the future or on Brandon Wild TV, because this will be aired tomorrow on Brandon Wild TV, kind of what have you found as best practices wheelchair wise when traveling? Because I would imagine it's basically like bringing another piece of luggage with you.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is.
Exactly.
We had to check it in the airport. It's like a stroller, when you put it up to the gate and then you get off the wheelchair, and they have to take it as a piece of like a gate check-in stroller,
Yeah, it'd be interesting too to see if there are cruise lines out there and airlines that are a little more, you mentioned about how they kind of pitched a stink about the size of your wheelchair. If there's more, I don't know if this is the right word, like handicap
Yeah.
accessible, but where they will assist with those sorts of services.
I think they will have to start doing that because there'll be more and more people my age if they want customers.
Yeah,
Because the whole ship that we were on to this last time was all above 60, 80, 90s. And my kids were there, but they were the youngest by 30 years difference for the next youngest person.
wow.
Yeah.
Well, very interesting. Good questions. If anybody joining us via Facebook has any points or comments, please feel free to post those. Do we have any other? You have to.
And
The camera's looking right at you. So.
schedule or a set of exercises that you would do while you're traveling in a car or an airplane? So that you would say, you know, your movement wouldn't become stiff? Was there any kind of routine that you would recommend?
With any kind of what?
Routine that you would recommend?
Oh, I recommend you getting a bulkhead seat so that you have more space. And I did my leg lifts while I was on the plane. And so that I have more room to do my leg lifts and my knee lifts on the plane. That's why I got a bulkhead seat. I would highly recommend getting, bulkhead seats for traveling for Parkinson's, because that will give you more room to stand up too.
Yeah, well, that's great advice. I think for those joining us that maybe want to know what she's talking about, especially since the two of you are her therapist. If Dana can pull that chair back, Angie can demonstrate right there the exercise that Kathleen's referring to. Well, actually sit in that chair. That chair is just to, she said leg lifts and knee lifts. Scoot your chair back. There you go.
Yeah, and the ankle, what do you call that? Yeah, that's
Ankle
the knee,
pumps.
and the ankle pumps.
Your ankle pumps and then that.
When you do the flex it and point it, flex and point.
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah,
Very good. You would?
yes,
Yeah, that's it.
yeah, that's it. Flex and point, flex and point.
Nathan, anything else you would recommend?
Well, just standing up. Because you can't, most of the flight, you can stand up for a long flight like that. Just about, if you have a window seat or something, that's probably ideal. And she's talking about what, like, one of those,
Bulkhead.
You saying
like a bulkhead, like a extra row or something where you have more room.
Yeah,
Mhm.
But
that's
yeah,
right.
you have to walk around, even if you don't have to go to the bathroom, just walk down the aisle and back, when it's a less turbulent
Excuse me.
time in flight. Is it overnight? Flight?
My primary concern with this is the flight out there is 5.5 hour flight from Atlanta to Seattle, and then 10 hour flight from Seattle, about an hour and a half, 2 hour later. So it's going to be basically 16, 17 hours of travel.
Mm.
Nonstop from Tokyo to Atlanta, 15 hours. So it's overnight both ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Tokyo.
All right.
My real concern here is medication. I'm currently on a carbidopa 4 times a day. Take it in the morning, then late morning, early afternoon, and evening, and I don't take any at night. I can't imagine that I'm going to sleep 8 hours on a marathon.
Yeah.
So the question, what do I do with my medication? Do I just take them every 4? Do I just take the levodopa every 4 hours? Even though I'm not used to getting that levodopa in the day? How do I play that in here?
The question is something about
So,
med-
I didn't
medication.
quite
No.
hear what
So what he's saying is that, he's on carbidopa levodopa and it has to be awake for 18 hours plus because they're on an airplane. He can't see himself getting 8 hours of sleep on an airplane. You can take
Right.
that. Speaker's right here.
Oh. That's all.
So thank you, Dana. So how does he manage meds? Does he take it throughout the night like he would when he's awake? Or does he just go without while he's awake when he normally would be asleep?
I don't know.
Take them on the airplane.
Yes.
I would take them on the airplane, but then it's probably a question for the doctor.
So they would definitely give you an idea of what you can buy. Full dose, active dose, just what that recipe is. One thing you might also want to add is the compression stocking. Might be a good idea for you, but I would definitely get the other thing on the position for that as well. But I'll throw that to you.
So I don't have Parkinson's, but I just did an 18.5 hour drive and learned some things myself. You need to keep yourself on a hydration schedule, which sounds really stupid, but I didn't, and got out of my car after 18.5 hours of driving alone and looked at my ankles, and they were this big because I had not drank enough water because I didn't want to stop at gas stations constantly. But also, like, I paid for that for like the next day and a half.
Yeah.
So I think you have to do what you're going to do for the flight, but also mitigate that downtime after, because otherwise you lose a whole day of recovering from travel, which you already will have with the jet lag. But what have you all done for that, Kathleen and Dick, as far as
Yeah.
rescue doses and things like that when you have long overnights?
I
Right.
don't know. We've not traveled on the plane for long trips. This is the first time we've ever flown for 3 years.
But driving, do you stop
Oh, the
every
driving.
night when you drive?
Oh, yes, oh, yes, oh, yes, oh, yes, yes.
Okay.
So we stopped, in fact, we stopped at about his maximum of 7 hours.
Well, we stop on the road every couple hours just to take a break.
Yeah, we
and
took
go
a break.
walk and exercise a little bit. Because sitting in one position for hours at a time is really tough.
Yeah.
So we do take those breaks and exercise each time when we get up or when we stop. We don't travel for any more than 8 hours, which may only be 6 hours worth of actual driving, but that's
Yeah.
our typical driving day. And that's as far as we can, however far we can go in 6 hours, that's pretty much what we do when we're driving.
Have
Yeah.
you had to edit medication schedules before while traveling?
Kind of, especially when we had to change time zones. It's like in Chicago, it's time zones different from Augusta, right? So I just changed it to an hour or half an hour earlier or something like that. To when the first day I got here,
Yeah.
so that I can adjust.
Oh, and also just to follow up on that comment, because I thought his question was well placed for a long flight. Absolutely take your medications at the normal intervals that you would be taking anyway. Never mind changing time zones or anything like that. Your body needs to have, during the flight especially, what happened was we got a little behind and she was on a flight and so then we panicked and she took her medicine, but it takes a while to kick in. So for 45 minutes, she was miserable because she was behind on the medication. You can't allow yourself to get behind. Now, when you get to your new destination, there will be an adjustment period of at least 24 to 48 hours while you adjust to local time. And that's, you'll have to take that one kind of whatever works best for you. But don't miss any medications while you're in the flight. That's really critical.
The other thing was we were delayed. Our flight was supposed to leave at 7:30 in the morning. And we were supposed to get to the airport 3 hours ahead. So, and then they canceled our flight. So we were delayed and we were waiting and waiting. Then our flight was supposed to leave at 8:30 at night, but it didn't leave until 11 o'clock at night. So that's why I was late in taking my pills on the plane. Took my pills on the plane, but it was already too late. And I was just going berserk for about 45 minutes. More than that, actually, I was going berserk before I started taking the medicine. Because it was time.
So what I'm kind of drawing from this whole question is, do you mind pulling that door? Yeah. What I'm pulling from this whole question is consult your neurologist, but see if we can do a recovery dose or a rescue dose just to kind of get you through.
Yeah.
That's true. That's very true.
What's that?
I couldn't hear what he said.
He said first he's got to make sure that Japan will let him bring all his medicines.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Have you traveled internationally since you've been on everything, Kathleen?
Let's see.
yeah, you've been to Hong Kong before.
Well, that was before I was so incapable of walking and everything.
Yeah.
Oh,
But in
were
terms
you
of-
on medication at that time?
Yes, I was. Yes, I was.
Yeah. And you have to bring the labeled medicine. Containers have to be labeled, the original labels.
Well, yeah, I think that's good practice for those watching. That's good practice anywhere. Because if
Yeah.
a police officer pulls you over, they're gonna say, what is this? And then ask for those bottles. So whenever you travel, you should bring the bottles along with whatever your scheduling
Yeah.
is in. But, what, did you have to do anything special when you went to Hong Kong to declare those medications?
No, I didn't have to do anything.
That's good to know.
No, yeah.
I
I
mean,
guess
it is,
each country is different.
yeah, that's, yeah. Thankfully, it's not a controlled substance or anything like that, so.
Yeah.
Anything else? Any other questions?
Would have a question, have y'all already made your reservation?
Yes.
So,
Have to make your reservation before you can ask for a visa.
so,
We learned that when you're traveling overseas, and you gotta get a visa, you have to have a visa with Japan. You have to have the plane reservation. Tell Japan about a reservation, not. You also have to have a letter now from the person you're going to visit, inviting you to come and visit. Because otherwise, they're not going to believe you if you're going to go visit them. So there are all sorts of little hoops you have to go to, you have to buy tickets that are canceled. Because if they decide they're not going to give you a visa, you can't go.
I was just wondering, because we just had a family that was filed for a funeral, and they had to pay an extra, they had 6 on 5, there's a lot of extra fees that we normally get them to pay. So I didn't know if all would arrange that where you would have to be side by side and all the
We'll be side by side, we'll be bulkhead, 2 of the bottles, the other one is bulkhead. They're large planes, we have the front seats and the second at the end. And because we had about 10 total tickets, they could get them together. And
I don't get it. Okay.
then they'll say, well, you're just going where to go, they won't give you the seat. We had that all right.
Wow.
what's this?
So he was talking about the
What?
hoops you have to jump through right now to fly internationally, especially to Japan during COVID.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, we had to do that.
Tickets and
We had to do that for Canada too, because we had to come through Canada on this trip to come back. They had to have this arrive can thing we have to fill out and show them that we have our vaccination document. And then we had to have shown them that our COVID test within the last 72 hours and all that stuff before they would let us in.
wow.
And then leaving, coming to the United States, that was a cinch because there was no such requirements from Canada anyway.
So
Hey,
travel with
Logan.
their COVID tests. Yeah.
Yeah, Logan, I was gonna make another kind of general comment, and that's, we have held off on any kind of travel for the last several years, mainly because of the pandemic. But even after the pandemic is kind of subsiding these days, we decided that we would travel with our kids. And not everybody has this option, of course, but we thought, hey, in case we need help with luggage, moving luggage
And
is a pretty significant affair. And if you're pushing a wheelchair around and trying to get from place to place in airports, it gets pretty complicated, especially if you have to move luggage and all that sort of thing. So we were lucky because our kids came with us, and there were multiple occasions where they were able to help us, moving luggage, either getting to the ship or on and off of an airplane, that kind of thing. So that's a nicety. Not everybody has that luxury, but it's great if you are lucky enough to have somebody travel with you who has kind of an extra person that can help moving things as you're going along, on the trip. Just a comment.
more than just a caregiver.
Well, and if you don't, so my mother had a experience where she had to fly after she flew to Michigan and then had a huge bout of vertigo
Oh,
and inner ear infection and could not walk basically, and had to fly back to Augusta. There's a lot you can do if you preemptively plan with airports if you're unable to do luggage and stuff. Like we basically showed up in Atlanta and like everything was there. Like they had really helped out, the airport staff had. So contacting the airport, I think, is something else,
Wow,
especially in a country like Japan, where like customer service and, you know, service above self is kind of their motto.
that's wonderful, yeah.
Yeah.
Or the airline.
Yeah, the airline as well, but I think the physical airport is where you know, because they're boots on the ground. The airline is kind of a, or at least I think they make themselves that way, kind of a, yeah.
Can't hear.
I know Dana didn't pull up her mouth.
So you can't take snacks anymore. right?
You can.
Airlines won't let you take food. You have to buy food at the airport.
You can.
You can't take liquor, but you can take food.
You can take, so this is from my father and brother that traveled and flew every week. You can take a glass of ice, but not ice water. So you just pre-get your ice and then fill up at the airport. You can bring
Good.
snacks as long as they're unopened and not like a Dorito bag. Like,
Because I'm assuming that, again, if it's 59 o'clock. I don't know, I've never flown in Mexico, so I don't know how good the waitress services are. They're not what they used to be. I used to fly Alaska Airlines up at Alaska, all the time. It's fabulous, they have wine, and everything. But it's not the way it is. So you take snacks, what kind of snacks do you take? How do you pay the cleanse? My other thing, I'm gonna talk on the office stuff is I have sleep medications, but they're not things for they're things that help.
mm,
And also see if we get some data. What kind of snacks do you take? On that kind of thing?
I mean, granola bars are obviously always a good thing to do.
Yeah.
I would say bring some, like,
Chocolate,
what'd you say, Kathleen?
chocolate Kit Kat bars.
Chocolate.
Okay.
I always say, because we all run into blood sugar issues, especially if you're flying, not drinking enough water and all that. Those Welch's fruit snacks are like a good way to get a little bit of sugar without having a Kit Kat bar or something. You know, they're at least a little more organic than chocolate and things like that. But yeah, and they also don't get crushed or melt.
Oh,
That's true.
never heard of it.
Well, I've seen it, yeah.
Okay.
mhm.
And here,
Yeah, I'm an ice water person, so that ice trick has saved my life a whole bunch.
Oh, really? We can bring ice without water in
It's
the
You
drink?
can bring ice, yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's because a lot of things can be described, you know, hidden as a clear liquid, but not so many things freeze at a temperature where it's not smoking out the can or anything like that.
Interesting.
Interesting, yeah. I'll do that next time.
Any other snack tips, Nathan? Anything from you?
Whatever you find.
What?
I didn't hear
You like crushed chips? Maybe some chips?
it.
Yeah, there you go.
Lots of crackers. Like lots of little 6-pack Coke and crackers.
Oh, yeah, those are good.
Okay.
hmm Well, and you get a little bit of protein from like the peanut butter if there's peanut butter in there. Not much, but
Peanut butter crackers.
Things like 8 and 9 pounds, the Parkinson Foundation has the hospital kit, where you can write down all your medication, but it also gives you, a little handout that tells you what, medications do not interact with you very well, so. for instance,
Right. Okay, with-
yeah,
let's be careful with that.
don't tolerate vinaigrette and then so for instance, how to also know
Well, they're
when
talking about protein snacks, but you be
Oh,
careful with your
yeah.
medication.
But that's good for those joining us. So, you know, really look into that free medication guide about seeing what doesn't interact, especially when traveling, because I feel like we all get somewhere and it's like, oh, wow, I'm jet lagged. Let me just pop, you know, melatonin, or, you know, even something over the counter. Or if you are in pain because you've been sitting for 18.5 hours, like what to take, what not to take. You probably know that being home, but to remind yourself having something like that. Otherwise, you're Googling in an airport, and that's never fun.
Hmm. Ooh,
So,
No.
power, yeah, well,
anything else on traveling? Any
Okay, so-
questions? Any tips from anyone?
we're getting-
Hold on, Dick's gonna go
uh,
put his phone on.
Okay.
The other thing I think may or may not be important to other people is the finding the accessible bathroom for handicapped people. It's an individual, it's a one room where it's like a family bathroom type of thing. It's not like a row of them and then you go to the very last one and then it's a big one. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a
Okay,
separate
that-
bathroom entirely.
Yes, exactly. Those are important to find beforehand too.
So we brought that up. What were the restaurants or gas stations that you and Dick said are good to stop at for things like that if you are stripping?
Starbucks.
Starbucks.
And what was it? Jimmy John?
Well, Subway.
Subway.
Oh, okay. And you said Chick-fil-A too. I remember that.
Did you say
I
Chick-fil-A?
didn't say Chick-fil-A, no.
I did not say, we have not been to Chick-fil-A. I don't know if that many Chick-fil-A's on the highway, actually. We've seen
Yeah,
Starbucks on the highway.
Talking about that they have really clean bathrooms last time.
Not too many Chick-fil-A's on the highway. You
That's
don't see
true.
that. Yeah. What is the other one do?
I thought you had some gas station style thing.
I think it's a
Well, the
rest area.
Rest stops,
rest there, stops, yeah.
about 50% of rest stops have family bathrooms.
I
Yeah.
can concur with that from just traveling. Rest stops, most of them will have a family bathroom. You can pretty much tell when you pull up. If it looks semi-decent, it probably has a family restroom. If it looks like, there's one I pulled up to where all the lights outside are flickering and like it was 3 a.m. and I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to go in here,
Oh, no, yeah.
but I did. Well, if we're okay moving on, we don't have much time. We have 15 minutes left. Was there any questions? I know you two both came up with the list. Was there any questions that you had that were pressing? Dana is using the frequently asked questions by the Parkinson's Foundation,
Oh,
which is a material that we have. Camera's behind me. Which is materials that we have available at our meetings. So that's something that we're actually going to be doing. I'll share with you two and everybody who's watching online. We are creating, we already have a whole bunch of stuff, whole bunch of materials. But Dana, along with a couple other people, we've kind of determined who they are, but I won't say them until they're set in stone. We'll be organizing all of our research materials, all of our informational materials into kind of a resource library. She's the resource chair, so that's a fitting fitting task. But then they'll be available at the meetings and we'll replenish them. It's things from the Parkinson's Foundation, old materials, new materials, something from everything. And then we're also talking about doing a resource library where bigger books, like we actually talked about this on the board call yesterday. Dr. Karp talked about the Mediterranean diet and how there's something specific for Parkinson's. Getting something like that where you can check it out for as long as you want and just be sure to return it. But you're not having to buy a full cookbook that's $25 sometimes, or I'm sure there are other books that are a little more expensive that we'll have, but and those we're accepting donations for those, or if you want to gift one, we'll always take that as well. So but we will hopefully have quite the library by the end, and it will be a little more organized, and we'll be able to have materials for everyone to come and take, to keep, or check out. So thank you, Dana. Anything
Yeah.
else?
You talked about the medication that you take to help you sleep. Is there anything to do that is not medication like that helps you to sleep?
We need 2 microphones.
yeah.
When I was diagnosed with Parkinson's, And one of my primary problems is I just could not sleep. I woke up every hour. It's just so he actually put me on. I don't know who's on this.
Guess you and I are online.
Yes.
So they put me on really kind of like
Speaker this
Hmm.
time.
and he was very clear that what you're going to need to do is sleep hygiene. So my sleep hygiene rules are go to bed at about the same time every night. I get up at the same time every day. I don't sleep in. So if it's Saturday, I don't sleep in. You get up. Just gotta get up every day at the same time because then body gets into this system. So I get up 6:30. I get up every day.
No.
That's order. I take a trazodone 30 minutes before I go to bed. Last 2 or 3 hours before bed, I don't talk any news. I don't read any news. I don't talk about anything. Express. I will watch television. I will watch my computer or my phone if I have a blue screen filter on. I do have a blue screen filter, so I can do that. I get rid. I start taking a trazodone. Now they've got
Nobody else, we don't have anybody else on Zoom other than us.
Yeah.
then I lie down and read, do something on my phone.
But then there's nobody else. Okay.
Hmm?
You,
Nobody else. Okay. Just
I had some CBD.
Yeah. Oh, I know. In person.
Last meeting with the doctor, they put me on melatonin, not primarily for sleep purpose, but in order to defeat the sleep behaviors. And it seems to have helped. If they 10 milligrams of melatonin, not take the time.
That's discipline. I'm up at 5 a.m. every day during the week. There's no way you're getting me to wake up at 5 a.m. on the weekends.
It is a very different way of thinking of your life. You just those 2 or 3 hours, and I did that one day, terrible. It ruined everything.
Really?
So I woke up and medicine, everything's gone.
What's
Yeah.
this?
And watching TV,
Getting up every day and going to bed at the same time. Every day.
all of them say the same thing.
That was-
Yeah, Parkinson is scheduled with the body needs to know what's going to happen. So that's one of the things that I've actually been good at. I haven't been good at a lot of other things, but that's one thing. I've actually had a really good life. I sleep through the night. I wake up in the morning, I feel good. So that's what.
So-
How it works.
Do you both follow that now? Do you not sleep in? Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's our alone time. There you go.
What's this about? He can't sleep in.
And then.
He never changes
He
schedule.
tries to stick with the same schedule.
Oh, even during weekends, huh?
Mhm.
Comes in a case like this with the Parkinson's.
Oh, aware and care. That's
Oh,
one
yeah.
bag I have, which I didn't bring with me, stupid.
That the
It was
material,
on my list.
you don't have to pay for, you don't have to pay for it, you get on the same fee. This is $8. Yes, if someone wants to go to those, we don't do this. I don't know. If you get-
I think we
I
can.
think that's good.
We can get some more Parkinson's Foundation kits. But for those joining us that aren't on the call right now, live in the past or future, I mean, joining us in the future, not in the past. Oh my gosh, I'm a mess. I apologize, everyone. As Pam laughs on camera. For those of you that want those kits, reach out to us. Even if you don't come to the general meetings, even if you don't actively participate, we are here as a support group. We are here as the Parkinson's leader of support group for the entire CSRA. So that's what we're here for. Just reach out to us. You can reach out to me directly, reach out to info@parkinsoncsra.org. That'll come to Nathan right here. And we are happy to provide whatever materials you need, but don't think that you have to be, you're obligated to come to these meetings to participate in everything we have to offer. So, oh yeah, hold them up.
There's a bracelet that says that you have Parkinson's. And to check medicine before it's just automatically given to you.
Hmm.
I need my Parkinson's medicine on time, every time.
Oh, it's right here. Move the camera.
You're just out to get me tonight.
Oh, okay,
There's also a card that says I'm not drunk.
yeah. Where did the bracelet come from?
In that kit.
Oh, it's in the kit. Oh. I didn't-
Yep. So it's the Parkinson's Foundation Aware and Care Kit. So it's
Yeah, okay.
right when you're brand newly diagnosed. It's kind of a newly diagnosed kit. So we have those for those that come that are freshly diagnosed to kind of assist. And Angie and I last year met with those from the Parkinson's Foundation, and they were super on board and loved the idea of us helping those newly diagnosed, because sometimes that's a big step to reach out to a national organization to get something when you don't really know what you're dealing with yet, freshly diagnosed. So that's what we're here for. Email, text, whatever. I think my cell phone number is on the newsletter, so you can text me. I don't care. Just tell me who you are. Here's the medication form that Dana talked about. Oh, and this is another fact sheet for nurses. And these are a packet,
Yeah, it's just one sheet. I mean, there's several of them.
but you can carry, throw these in every piece of luggage. Keep one in your wallet, one in it never hurts. So thank you.
Where's the one that says, I'm not drunk, I just have Parkinson's?
I
There
don't
used to
have
be
that.
one.
She doesn't have that one, but that'd be a funny bumper sticker.
No, it is. It's true. They used to have that. They say, I'm not drunk because, you walk like as if you're drunk, right? And
Yeah.
then I'm not drunk, I just have Parkinson's. There was a card that used to be in the kit too.
Or the card that says, I have Parkinson's and I'm drunk.
No, I wish I was.
Is it a magnet that you can just put on the side of your car or on the side of a walker or things as you go? I think they probably replaced that with the bracelet. Bracelet seems a little more appropriate.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, we are 5 minutes shy of 7 o'clock. Not that I'm putting a hard time limit on us, but do we have any other questions that anybody wants to bring up? Topics? Okay. I will say just, another shout out to those that maybe watch the Facebook Live videos on our website or after the fact. I probably should have you look at my face, not the back of my head. Please feel free, like I said, to just reach out to us. There's no obligation in connecting with our group. If you want to participate, we won't turn you down, that's for sure. But if you just want to kind of dip your toe in and explore the world of Parkinson's support in your local community, that's what we're here for. So we're always happy to help. The board is always available. If you don't want to talk directly to me because I'm young and a man, you want to talk to a woman that's older, we have those available. Pam is thinking I'm referring to her. I'm not. But we have therapists on our board, more therapists than anybody else. If you're a doctor and you want to get on our board, or lawyer as well, we were looking for someone that can assist, maybe on the legal side of things with helping those that have Parkinson's in local community. We're always happy to help. But like I said, no obligation. We'd love to have you though. We're one big family that's ever growing post-COVID now. Well, middle of COVID, but post almost COVID. We're trying to get out there more and do some more fun things. So thank you all for joining us. Does anybody have anything else?
Thank you very much, Logan.
Yep. We have a walk. I switched it off my face. There you go. We have a walk meeting the third Tuesday of every month at 7 p.m. Sorry, I had to make sure I had my time straight without my calendar in front of my face. So if you want to just participate in that walk meeting, the planning meeting for the Pop Walk, the People of Parkinson's Walk that is held the first Saturday of October every year. By all means, you can attend a meeting and just sit quietly, keep your camera off. We do all of the meetings through Zoom. If you even want to just come on the day of, but still kind of want to see what goes into planning the walk behind the scenes, you're welcome to join us. So or if you want to feed those on the board and volunteers that come to the walk, you can do that too. But you have to know how to cook to do that. There's a obligation there. Or if you purchase food, that's fine as well. But no mystery meat chili or anything like that. So with that, I want to thank everyone who joined us. If you're watching in the future, thank you. If you're watching currently, thank you. Dick and Kathleen, the only people joining us on Zoom, thank you. We are here the fourth Tuesday of every month. We meet at Brandon Wild in the Georgia Room. We have a potluck dinner. There's always chicken strips. And we are happy to have you. Come join us. Thank you all for being here today.
Thanks, Logan.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.